Oh, come on, Hannah. They're cheap toys. Stop being so dramatic. My sister Brielle was standing in my father's backyard, stomping on my son's birthday presents, while my aunts and cousins laughed. Tyler was 6 years old. He was crying, reaching for the crushed robot box with both hands. I tried to step forward, but my father put his hand on my shoulder. Brielle's just having fun. You always overreact. That's when I realized my own father would always choose her. But he had no idea what I was about to do. My name is Hannah. I'm 32 years old. I work as a part-time bookkeeper and freelance graphic designer. I'm a single mom. Tyler's father left when Tyler was still a baby. I raised him alone. 2 jobs, a cramped apartment, every penny saved. I grew up as the responsible one, the quiet one, the one who didn't cause problems. Brielle was different, flashy, loud, always in trouble. And Dad always bailed her out. He paid her rent when she got evicted, bought her cars when she wrecked them, funded her failed business ideas. She never had to work for anything. I never asked for money. I didn't ask for help. I just kept my head down and survived. That day was supposed to be Tyler's 6th birthday party. I'd saved for weeks to buy him his dream gifts, a robot kit, art supplies, a superhero cape. We held the party at Dad's house because my apartment was too small. I thought it would be nice. A family gathering. Something Tyler would remember. I was wrong. I wasn't the favorite. I wasn't flashy or loud. But I had something they didn't expect. Proof. If you've ever been pushed aside by family, subscribe right now and tell me where you're watching from, because what happened next changed everything. Let me take you back to that morning. I arrived at Dad's house around 10. I had gifts in the trunk, a homemade cake, decorations. I spent an hour setting up the backyard. Blue and red streamers, balloons, a folding table for the food. Tyler was so excited. He kept asking when everyone would arrive. Soon, buddy, soon. Brielle showed up an hour late, hungover, sunglasses on. She stumbled out of her car, complaining about her ex-boyfriend. He's such a jerk, Dad. I can't believe he said that to me. Dad nodded sympathetically. You deserve better, sweetheart. She didn't even say happy birthday to Tyler. The party started. Aunts, uncles, cousins. Maybe 15 people total. Small, but nice. Tyler was glowing. He loved being the center of attention. We sang happy birthday. He blew out the candles. Then it was time for presents. He sat on the grass, surrounded by wrapped boxes. His eyes were huge. That's when Brielle started. Wow, Hannah, you actually bought real gifts this year? What did you do? Max out a credit card? I ignored her, kept smiling. Tyler deserved a good day. He opened the first gift, art supplies. His face lit up. Mom, markers. The good kind, I said. The ones that don't dry out. Brielle laughed. How much did those cost? $5? I bit my tongue. Tyler reached for the next box. The robot kit. The big one. I'd saved for 2 months to afford it. Brielle stood up. She was unsteady on her feet. Drunk, I realized. Already. At noon, she walked over and grabbed one of the unopened boxes, shook it hard. Let me guess, dollar store junk? Brielle, I said quietly. Don't. She grinned. Then she dropped it. Hard. Onto the concrete patio. The box crunched. Tyler's smile faded. My cousins laughed nervously. Aunt Diane looked away. Oops, Brielle said. She picked up another box, tossed it in the air. It landed in the grass with a thud. Something inside cracked. Brielle, stop it, right now. I stood up. My heart was pounding. She ignored me. She walked over and grabbed the robot kit, the biggest box, Tyler's favorite. She held it over her head. What are you going to do, Hannah? Cry? Please, I said. Don't. She slammed it to the ground. Then she stomped on it. Twice. The plastic cracked. Pieces scattered across the patio. Tyler burst into tears. He ran to me, buried his face in my legs. I looked at my father. He was standing right there, watching. Dad, I said, are you going to say something? He sighed, like I was the problem. Hannah, it's just toys. He'll get over it. You're making a scene. I couldn't believe it. My Aunt Carol nodded. Kids are so spoiled these days anyway. I felt my hands shaking. I picked up Tyler, held him close. We're leaving, Dad scoffed. Fine, run away like you always do. Brielle called after me, laughing. Thanks for the party, sis. I loaded Tyler into the car, buckled him in. He was still crying. It's okay, buddy, I whispered. It's okay. But it wasn't. I sat in the driver's seat. My hands were trembling. My chest was tight. And then something inside me snapped. He just made the biggest mistake of his life. A week later, my Aunt Carol called. Hannah, we're having a family dinner tomorrow night. You should come. I hesitated. What's the occasion? Just a celebration, nothing big. I brought Tyler. We showed up at the restaurant. It was nice, nicer than I could afford. Everyone was already there. Uncles, cousins, my grandmother. And then I saw it. A huge poster at the head of the table. Congratulations, Brielle. My stomach dropped. Dad had bought her a new car, a brand new SUV, to help her get back on her feet. She was beaming, showing everyone pictures on her phone. I looked around. No one had mentioned this to me. We were seated at the far end of the table, near the kitchen door. Tyler and I squeezed into two chairs that didn't quite fit. Dad stood up, raised his glass. To Brielle, my resilient, strong, beautiful daughter. You've been through so much. You deserve this. Everyone clapped. He didn't mention me once. Dinner was awkward. I barely ate. Tyler picked at his fries. Then the bill came. Dad leaned over, quietly, so no one else could. Here. Hannah, can you chip in? Everyone's contributing. I stared at him. How much? 80 should cover it. $80. I had $93 in my checking account until payday, but I couldn't say no, not in front of everyone. I handed him the cash. On the drive home, Tyler looked up at me. Mom, why is Grandpa always nicer to Aunt Brielle? I didn't have an answer. A few days later, I ran into them at the grocery store. I was in the cereal aisle. My cart had the basics: pasta, canned soup, store-brand everything. Then I heard her voice. Oh my God, is that Hannah? I turned. Brielle and Dad were at the end of the aisle. Their cart was full: steaks, wine, shrimp, expensive cheese. Brielle walked over, looked into my cart, and laughed. Oh, Hannah, still shopping like you're broke? Oh, wait, you are. Dad chuckled. A woman nearby turned. I recognized her. Jessica. We went to high school together. My face burned. Some of us work for what we have, Brielle. She rolled her eyes. Yeah, and some of us are actually loved. Dad put his arm around her. They walked away. He didn't even say goodbye. I stood there, gripping the cart, fighting back tears. Jessica looked at me with pity. I wanted to disappear. 2 weeks later, Dad called. Hannah, I need a favor. I should have hung up, but I didn't. What is it? I'm refinancing the house. I need someone with clean credit to co-sign. Just paperwork. You won't owe anything. I closed my eyes. Dad, I can't. I'm barely getting by. His tone changed. Cold. After everything I've done for you, I let you use my house for Tyler's party. You mean the party where Brielle destroyed his gifts and you did nothing? You're selfish, Hannah, just like your mother. The line went dead. I sat there in silence, staring at my phone. He only calls when he wants something. I walked to my laptop, opened a folder I'd been keeping for months. Dad's business records. What they didn't know was that I'd been Dad's bookkeeper for his contracting business for 5 years. I kept everything: invoices, tax documents, payments, all organized, all filed. About 8 months ago, I found something: discrepancies. Dad had been underreporting income to the IRS, hiding cash payments, inflating deductions, and worse, he'd taken out a fraudulent loan using a fake business partner's name, a man who'd been dead for 2 years. I'd confronted him back then, quietly. Dad, this doesn't look right. He waved me off. That's just how business works, Hannah. Don't worry about it. I didn't push. I didn't want conflict, but I made copies. I stored them securely, just in case. Now, sitting at my kitchen table, I opened those files again. I thought about Tyler's broken toys, Brielle stomping on them, Dad laughing. I thought about the grocery store, the dinner, the phone call. I thought about years of being ignored, dismissed, used. I never wanted to be the one to hurt him, but he'd chosen Brielle over me 1,000 times, and this time he'd chosen her over my son. I scrolled through my contacts. Diane Ruiz, IRS fraud investigator. I'd met her at a community tax workshop months ago. We'd exchanged cards. I stared at her number. My hand was shaking. I whispered to myself. I gave him every chance. Then I called. The next morning, my voice was shaking. Ms. Ruiz, this is Hannah. We met at the tax workshop. Of course, how can I help you? I took a breath. I need to report someone for tax fraud. She listened, asked questions. I sent the documents securely. 2 days later, she called back. Hannah, this is serious. Fraud, tax evasion, identity theft. We're talking felony charges. My stomach dropped. What happens now? Formal investigation, audit, possible criminal referral. I felt a wave of fear and guilt. Then I remembered Brielle's voice. They're cheap toys. I remembered Dad's voice. You always overreact. Do what you need to do, I said quietly. Meanwhile, the family group chat was blowing up. Dad was planning his 65th birthday party. Big celebration, rented hall, catering, open bar. Brielle was organizing it. She messaged me directly. You better show up and bring a decent gift this time. No cheap crap. I didn't respond. A week later, Diane called. The audit notice is going out tomorrow. Be prepared. He's going to know someone reported him. My stomach churned, but I held firm. That night I called my best friend Jenna. I reported him, I said. She was quiet for a moment. Then, you didn't do this to him, Hannah. He did it to himself. You just stopped covering for him. I lay awake that night, staring at the ceiling. I thought about all the times I stayed silent, all the times I tried to keep the peace. I thought about Tyler. He deserved better than a family that treats people like this. I wasn't scared anymore. I was ready. 2 weeks later, Dad's phone call came. Did you do this? He screamed. Did you report me? I stayed calm. You did this to yourself, Dad. I'm your father. You're supposed to be loyal. I was loyal for years, and you chose Brielle every single time. This is about the damn toys? Grow up, Hannah. No, Dad. It's about you never seeing me, never respecting me, never protecting my son. He cursed. The line went dead. That evening, someone pounded on my door. I opened it. Brielle shoved past me into my apartment. You vindictive bitch. Dad could go to prison because of you. I closed the door, stayed calm. He could go to prison because he committed fraud. He was trying to take care of me. I needed help. And I didn't. I've been raising Tyler alone. Where was Dad's help for me? You never asked. I stared at her. I shouldn't have to beg to be treated like I matter. She changed tactics. Her voice softened. He's going to lose the house, Hannah. Everything. He should have thought about that before he chose you over Tyler, before he let you break my son's heart and laughed about it. Please, she whispered, just tell them you made a mistake, that you were wrong. I shook my head. I'm done protecting him. I'm done being invisible. She stared at me. Then she turned and slammed the door behind her. A few days later, the family group chat exploded. Dad's assets were frozen. Pending investigation. His birthday party was cancelled. Relatives started taking sides. Some blamed me, called me a traitor. Others reached out quietly. I always knew he played favorites. One cousin texted, I'm proud of you. Someone had to stop enabling him. I blocked the toxic ones, kept the supportive ones. Then, one evening, there was a knock. I opened the door. Dad stood there, older, tired, deflated. I didn't think you'd actually go through with it, he said quietly. I didn't think you'd actually let Brielle destroy Tyler's birthday and do nothing. He looked down. She's She's fragile, Hannah. She needs me. And I needed you too, Dad. So did Tyler. But we were never enough. His voice cracked. I'm sorry. I know, but sorry doesn't fix it. What do you want from me? I looked him in the eye. Nothing. I don't need anything from you anymore. I closed the door. Weeks later, the investigation wrapped up. Dad accepted a plea deal. Probation, restitution, community service. No jail time, but his reputation was destroyed. He had to sell the house to pay back taxes and penalties. Brielle moved in with a new boyfriend. Stopped speaking to me entirely. Some relatives still whispered, called me cruel, unforgiving. But I felt lighter than I had in years. One Saturday, I took Tyler to the park. He was on the swings, laughing. He ran up to me, breathless. Mom, are we going to Grandpa's house for Christmas? I knelt down, met his eyes. No, sweetie, but we're going to have our own Christmas. Just us. And it's going to be perfect. He grinned. Can we get a real tree? Absolutely. That night I video called Jenna. She raised a glass of wine. How are you holding up? Honestly? I feel free. Good. You deserve that. I used to think family meant loyalty no matter what. But I finally understood. It's not loyalty if it only goes one way. I never needed their approval. I just needed my own strength. Later I tucked Tyler into bed, kissed his forehead. I love you, Mom. I love you too, buddy. Always. I closed his door softly, stood in the hallway. For the first time in years, the silence didn't hurt. It felt like peace. If you've ever had to stand up to family betrayal, even when it hurt, you're not alone. It's one of the hardest things I've ever done. But I'd do it again, because my son deserved better. Where are you watching from? Drop your location in the comments below. I actually read every single one. And if you've been the overlooked one in your family, the one who always gave but never received, I see you. Your story matters. Hit that subscribe button and share your story with us. Let's build a community where we lift each other up, because sometimes the family we choose is stronger than the one we're born into. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next one.